Okay, this is Ripper with the Matt Gamecast, and today we are going to be looking at some things in Dota 2. I've been wanting to cover this for a while. The International is going on right now, which is very exciting, though I think it's day 2 or 3, day 2, maybe 3 by now. That's been really fun to watch. Definitely should be doing that. You can watch the games live when they go on in a couple hours, or watch the replays on Twitch or in the game, but that's not what I wanted to talk about. We've had definitely a lot of launch problems with the game. It was really buggy, really bad performance in the store, in the library, and just in the game in general. It's improved. There's still some crashes, but at least the store functions now how it should. It actually loads, well, decently quickly anyway. Doesn't lag out. You can actually just go and look at heroes and it'll load. Before this would take 30 to 60 seconds to load. Now it's maybe 5 or 10, which is an improvement. You can actually play the YouTube videos without them lagging like horribly, which happened to me before. All those kind of things. So the performance is definitely a lot better. But today I'm just going to hop in a bot match and do some demonstrative things. So let's do that. But the game's a lot of fun. It is free to play. You do have to get in a queue, unless, as far as I know, in North America, or America at least, you basically get let right in, but I have a friend who's in Russia, and he's still waiting in the queue for some reason. One of the things, when you load a game, one of the bugs is still there's like a 5 to 10 second delay on the sound, or maybe even longer. There it is, before it shows up again. Just gonna go for some axe action here.
Someone brought an axe to an axe fight!
I've got some nice items for him. Oh, I meant to random. Silly me. That's okay. See, there's still a bit of lag there when you start. What I wanted to show off actually is some warding. And
prepare for battle!
Oh, I didn't know they'd be out of... Huh. I actually did not know you could only buy 2 wards at the start. That is news to me, despite how long I've been playing this game. And, well, you don't actually want to buy boots at the beginning like I'm doing. I'm doing it here so I can move around quicker to show you the warding. Depending, I mean, this is a bot match again, so it's not as serious. I'm just showing basic warding. If I was going top, you know, warding's really important in this game, and it's something, generally speaking, support heroes should do, which Axe isn't. On our team, that would actually be Jakiro, or maybe even Necromancer, but Jakiro first. Swen if he has a lot of many. There's a lot of warding's really important in this game. And there's many different places to ward on the map, on your side of the map, on their side of the map, depending on what stage the game is at, whether or not you've lost towers, whether or not you're trying to push, whether or not you're trying to defend. There's a lot of different factors, so there's a lot of different things to consider. But basically, the most basic spots, the runes spawn here and here, and we see Jakiro is going to pick up an invisibility rune. Right up here is a fairly decent ward spot, though I actually don't particularly like to ward here because I think it's less useful. I prefer to ward up here because I think it gives you vision up here of people crossing this river if they're trying to come over here and gank your top lane. Another very nice defensive area is right here by the Ancients. Though generally I would do this if I was on the Dire side. I'm on the Radiant side. I just pinged the bot ran over. The reason you would ward here is because you do get vision of the rune, but it also gives you upper vision here and vision of the Ancients if anyone's farming it. So it's a great spot to ward. I ward here defensively when we've lost a tower right here. Otherwise, you always want to ward more on their side. Generally speaking, in the top lane, there's a few different things. You would want to place the ward here. And you would also want to ward either right here to prevent yourself from being jumped, maybe if they have a jungler, or some really annoying heroes who can leap at you quickly, which they don't particularly have here. Ooh, poor Svenbot's getting beat up. But the other thing you would do is called warding their pole lane. because decent players, when the creep wave comes along, if their lane's too far pushed, they will go and aggro these creeps and pull them into the lane. Of course, I can't see when their creep wave is coming, although I technically can because it's timed with ours. But I just missed it there. But generally speaking, you'd put a ward somewhere around here, which sees a little bit into the lane and prevents this. Actually, I kind of messed that up. It needed to be right there. It prevents this camp from respawning once you actually can see it. Which is good because then they can only... Actually, if you run over here quick enough, you can ward it before the game starts and they get no pull for like 5 minutes, which is nice. Actually, I can buy some more wards here, but the courier is in use. And there's... let me grab some more wards and I will show you some more warding spots as soon as those are up. Another place to ward... not going about this in the best order, but... this is a sentry ward, so it's not going to give the same vision, but I'm just demonstrating. I mean, counter warding is also a good idea. If you think they have a ward up here, place a sentry ward and you can kill their observer ward. But generally, this is a defensive ward, and it gives vision of this whole little area here, including on this side of the trees, and obviously this creep camp. This you would do, generally speaking, if you've lost, not necessarily even your first tower, definitely if you've lost your second, but if you think they're doing a push or maybe they're running around your jungle, pop a ward up here, it'll give you a nice defensive radius, especially if you're about to have a fight at this tower. It'll prevent you from getting jumped from the sides. Here, let me grab these wards. Can't get the actual observer wards yet because of the countdown. And over here again, defensive ward for you would be like right here because it shows pretty much a lot of the jungle. Again, the sentry ward doesn't give the vision the observer ward does, but same thing, if you think they've warded you here, this is a common spot to do so. If I was the enemy team and I wanted to know what our team was doing on our jungle, I'd run and place one here. This is a great spot because you have vision of this creep camp and kind of this one and who's running around in here to the bottom lane or to over here. All kinds of different reasons to ward this spot. It makes it really easy to hop in from the river. Of course, if they've warded here, they can see you coming, but still, you can come from over here. Maybe you can teleport in, all kinds of different reasons to want to ward here. When you're in the bottom lane, starting the laning phase, maybe I'm Luna, maybe I'm Jakiro. Generally speaking, if you need a quick ward from the side, you can come and place one right here, and this will give you vision of the rune. And it'll also give you vision here on the side in case anyone's trying to jump you. And it's also easier just to run here and place the ward than to run all the way over here and ward. But if you wanted to, again, there's a lot of good warding spots around here. I mean, defending, generally speaking, you want a bit more vision on their side. So over here, I probably would ward up here. Or if I wanted the more defensive one, can I get the observers? Yes, I can, finally. You can see you can't see actually, but there's this little turtle here right on this rock. Basically you ward right here. It's a really great spot. It gives you vision of this area, the river, and the rune. It's a really nice ward. If I was the enemy team and I wanted the rune vision, I would ward right here always, because like I said, you want a little more vision on their side rather than yours early game. Just boom, right up here. Really, really great ward. So, actually, see, they have a ward here. Sentry ward for the win. Hack it up, Axe. Right. A word for you.
Axe is pleased.
Let me see. So let's do a bit of more offensive warding in their jungle. So, this is all very dependent on what's happening in the game and when. Whether you're pushing into their territory, they're pushing into yours. But at a minimum in the game, you should always have vision top at the rune spots. And if you've lost a tower, then place a little more of a defensive ward on your side. In this side of the river, you don't really have a defensive ward spot so much. I mean, sometimes it's not very common, but I'll just throw a ward out right here in the middle or on the edge of this lip. If we've already lost a tower and I want to know more what's happening in the middle and when they're pushing. But that's not so common. But if you have some extra wards or money, it's a good thing. Actually, I don't know if it even lets you place a ward here. But placing one even right here in this corner can be good, because it does give you vision of this area. Because obviously when you're standing down, you have no vision. Their whole team could be right there, and I don't know. So popping a ward there is nice. Same thing actually here. When you're fighting uphill, like you're trying to take this tower, their whole team's here. Well, of course my creeps are there so I can see. But especially if they have a hero like a Pudge who can hook you, or maybe even a Clockwork who can hook into you. Like, you want a defensive ward, you want vision. Can I buy more wards now? I can buy some more of these. Oh, the courier's in use. But I would usually pop a ward like just right here on this lip edge. This gives you vision of this whole area, which is really nice. Oh, courier fails. I'm nearly dying by creep because I'm not paying attention. Oh, DD rune. Oh no, I'm so dead. Oh, she ran away. Oh, she tried to stun me, then run away. A human player would have killed me there, but these are bots, so who cares? This is for demonstration purposes only. And warding, nothing else. So for example, you know, a ward right here, this is an observer ward, would be a spot right here. Does it? I think this is, yeah, that's invalid location. Ah, actually there you go. That's not even the best one. The best ward, offensive or defensive in the jungle, is right up here. This gives you vision of them sort of coming out of their base and around this tower. Actually, if I even placed it maybe a little more on this side, it would give me a little more vision. But again, anyone running through here to the jungle, if you've lost your middle tower and there's a push coming on your second, or there's a push coming up here, you should definitely ward this area. Or even if you haven't lost this is sometimes a good idea, because sometimes people will circle up and around and come at you from behind or from the side. So you really want to know what's going on. I mean, these ward places apply to both teams depending on what's going on in the game, whether it's an offensive ward or defensive ward. For me right now, this would be considered an offensive ward because I'm in their jungle, wanting to see what they're doing. If the dire team, which is the enemy, warded here, this would be a defensive ward. An offensive ward for them would be a ward down here in our jungle, or even the spot I showed you before on top of this little hill. Those would be offensive wards for the enemy team, defensive for ours. Yeah, the Axe announcer pack's a lot of fun. Let me see if I can grab any more wards. I can, but oh, they're out of.
Rest is for the dead.
I can't for 28 more seconds. But that's basic warding. I wish I could have bought more observer wards, but generally speaking, support heroes, you should always have them from the start of the game. You should have them at every point in the game. See, the sentry wards give a very, very tiny vision radius. I just spotted Lena there. But one thing you can do is click on a ward, and you can see here in the bottom how much time it has left, ticking down. Pretty sure they last 6 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. Last 6 minutes. Sentry wards only last 3, however. So you should be checking on this if you're the one who placed the ward and you think it could be out soon. Like if it has basically under a minute left, or maybe 30 seconds, you should just walk over and pop another ward down. So you keep your vision sustained. That's very important. At a minimum, you should always have some vision in the 2 river areas. But if you've lost your whole middle area, then pull the ward back a bit to a little more defensive to give you some middle vision. Because having a no vision middle if you're getting pushed is a bad thing as well. But I've played with a lot of support heroes who are like, no, I don't want to buy wards, I'm just trying to finish my item. And then, since we didn't have vision, we lost the team fight, or they got jumped and died. Basically, even if you're trying to finish an item and you're 100, 150 gold away, okay, maybe if you can farm it super quick. But if you have to wait a while and you have to wait a couple more minutes to have vision, like, no. Buy the wards, get them out there. Even if you're not going to place them yourself, you can easily just buy them, stick them on the courier like I just did, and have anyone place them. Any hero who has a slot. Just the point is, buy them. You shouldn't make, the tanks and carries have to buy wards. In games where you're super ahead and you have tons of money, maybe. But usually speaking, those heroes really need their money because they have to either deal the damage or take the damage, and that little bit of gold can really take away from them on finishing their items. So if you're playing a support hero, know your role. Last hit fail. Know your role and play it. So that's all for this wording tutorial. Hope it was helpful. I'll be doing some more.